It's peak. And could you imagine if we were still in the Premier League shout? If we still had the FA Cup to contend with? If only we had depth, eh? Injury update, Gabriel Magalhaes. Further to being substituted during our match against Fulham on Tuesday, we can confirm that Gabriel Magalhaes has sustained a hamstring injury which requires surgery. Gabriel will undergo a surgical repair procedure to his hamstring in the coming days and immediately begin his recovery and rehabilitation program with the aim to be ready for the start of next season. Everyone at the club will be fully focused on supporting Gabby to ensure he's back to full fitness as soon as possible. So, it'd be interesting to see Gabriel Jesus and Kai Havertz in particular at the start of next season. Well, it's your time, Kivio. I can talk about shifting White over there, shifting Timber over there, Declan Rice over there. It's your time, Kivio, innit? Man, I'm going to Real Madrid with no striker, you know. No striker, half-fit star boy, young players ran into the ground. When life throws you lemons, make some Hennessy, innit? But if it was Hennessy, it's got to be drunken straight, man. No mixer. I mean, it's like you knew it was the case, but it still makes that news disappointing nonetheless. Big up you lot in the chat for keeping me up to date with anything emerging. I mean, Mikel Arteta did say the good thing with Kivio, and I was in the press conference for this. The good thing with Jacob Kivio is that he's been very reliable. Every time we need him, he's always there. He's available and does his job. We ask him to play as a left centre back, right centre back, left full back. He's ready. He's got a smile on his face. Injuries have undermined Arsenal's season, but Mikel Arteta must take blame. Gabriel Jesus, he is injured, but Gabriel Magalhaes is the latest in a long line of injuries which has cursed Arsenal's season. The Brazil defender pulled up, clutching his hamstring in his right leg in the 2-1 win over Fulham, and is set to miss both legs of the Champions League quarter-final with Real Madrid. And away from the obvious reasons, you know, the selfish reasons, because he's one of our best players, we all know the climate, we need him. Feel sorry for him. You've been here when we were shit. Like, you fight whatever way the Real Madrid game panned out. At least you was there. You've been about. You've been part of the trenches. These games kind of show the progress that we still have to go, but that we've made. So it sucks for Magalhaes. And bro, you're one of the only ones that I know is on this thing. But nonetheless, we know it's come out now that he's going to require surgery. He underwent scans, people. We've seen an official update today, people. Crucially, John Cross has said, does it beg the question as to why Arsenal have had so many injuries this season and particularly bad hamstring injuries? It is naive to regard it as purely bad luck. It is. It is. Only those with vested interests at the football club are not going to be honest about this. The demands of the players are unforgiving, and the workload on them chasing the Premier League title, the Champions League, 2 domestic cups, and internationals is just too much. Bukayo Saka, Kai Havertz, Martinelli, and now Gabriel have all suffered significant hamstring injuries this season. Saka was out for 3 months, and the injury list has been way longer when you take in Ben White, Gabriel Jesus, and Calafiori, who are all currently sidelined. Hasn't even mentioned Tomiyasu yet, which I can't blame journalists for forgetting Tommy's at the club, unfortunately. Timber is hoping his knee injury is not serious, but he could not complete the game against Fulham. And the club are desperate for him to face Real Madrid. White's knee issue flared up in training. He has been recovering from surgery, and his load is having to be managed as he comes back again. There is hope he could be ready. Hope. They also say it's the hope that kills. The problems run deeper. If you look at the players who have suffered significant injuries this season, they have all played huge amounts of games, not just this season, but the 2 previous years. Are you not surprised? Smash the like button if you're not surprised. Are you not surprised? This is just, and it's nothing to do with John Cross, but this is just fancy talk for people, for people to say like we stumbled upon this. We've been knowing this, but there's no point getting frustrated, man. Like, it is what it is now. Like, if nothing changes, nothing changes. Arsenal have been full on for 3 years, and chasing down Man City in the past 2 seasons has clearly taken a toll. And this season, you're seeing the effects, but you cannot dismiss it as just bad luck. The players all look tired, overworked, and vulnerable. Gabriel has played a staggering 49 games this season for club and country. There needs to be a full review of the global calendar. Kai Havertz, before he got injured while in warm weather training camp in Dubai, had played 38. There's been no rest for Saka, who tore his hamstring in December, but his previous 2 years had been unforgiving and with no rest. And I hate to be that guy. we need to wrap Declan Rice and Cotton Wool, because you're the next one I think of where all of these injuries are concerned. You're the next one that's been like that kind of thing, if it makes sense. So yeah, we just I don't know, people. We're fucked in it, really. Like we're fucked, mate. You know what I mean? Anyways, along the line, there's been a question mark over whether these players are being overtrained and also overplayed, because Arteta's squad is not as deep as some of their rivals. I don't think it's an overtrained thing. Man are being overplayed. It's a quality in a manager to know when to rest players and when to tamper down training. And I don't want to be overcritical, but Lewis Kelly looks shattered against Fulham. Why not just bring on Tierney? Because the thing, and we can see there's a dumb goal by that, because that's the same thing I saw from Mikel Arteta. It's different, but again, I want my manager to get over the line. It's about these fine margins. That same kind of principle, you go back 2 years ago, where he only took off Zinchenko and you know when he started crying at Anfield, where we all could remember that game and like, yo, the inverted fullback thing is great. This is Anfield. Traditional defender, see out the game now. Like Arteta, everybody at the club, bro. Like this is a serious season of reflection. Reflection for the players, because they're the ones playing on the injury front, on the recruitment front, on all of that kind of front. Arteta and his coaching staff have to do their own deliberation. Berta and his team have to do their own thing. Arteta, your extended coaching staff, Berta, and everybody in between, the Garlics, the Tim Lewises, all these guys, you don't need to link up, because we need quality additions, we need quantity, and we need our manager on the field to find solutions, and we need him to learn these lessons, because players have been run into the ground. We've been owed this, as fucked as it is, and I'm not suggesting for a second that Arsenal are putting players out there to get hurt on purpose. You'd be a dickhead to assume that. But is anyone surprised, based on what we've seen with Benjamin White since he signed for this club, Bukayo Saka since he's become the star boy and then some, Gabriel Magalhaes for the minutes played, Kai Havertz for the minutes played, Martinelli for the minutes played? Nobody is surprised by any of the hamstring injuries in particular. It is very stupid if we're just going to sit here and say it's just luck. It's stupid. Anyways, man. Even Timber. I love Timber's season. I love what he's brought to the table. But coming off the back of an ACL, he's played a lot of minutes. Small squad, 4 games, 4 competitions, small squad, 3 games every 10 days, twice a week for 7 days. It takes anything from 24 to 72 hours to recover from games. This is not surprising. You have not fixed the roof while the sun is shining. And now it's pleading down. Now it's not even just raining through our leaky roof. The house is flooded. Now we want to talk about fixing roofs. Now we want to talk about prevention. Prevention is better than cure. But as I keep saying, if nothing changes, man. Everybody's got to take responsibility, bro. Everyone's got to take responsibility. Anyways, man, Arsenal eyes summer move for Athletic Bilbao's Nico Williams after initial talks. Arsenal are exploring a summer move for Athletic Bilbao's Nico Williams. Berta has held talks with the Spain forwards reps in one of his first acts as club sporting director. It's understood Berta, who was confirmed in his post last Sunday and attended Tuesday's 2-1 win against Fulham, has met the 22-year-old's agent Felix Tainter. Arsenal have heavily scouted Williams for the past 2 years and are believed to have considered a move for him last summer, only to be informed that he wanted to remain at Athletic for another season. We all know he did well in the Euros. And in the Europa League, his team are in the quarterfinals. They face Rangers. He's expected allegedly to push for a move this summer. Barcelona, who also tried to sign Williams last summer, Bayern Munich and Chelsea are also believed to be in the race, with his release clause thought to be set at around 58 million euros, in brackets 48.4 million. Arsenal's long-term interest and the role of Berta, formerly sporting director at Atletico Madrid, could persuade him to move to North London. Arsenal are also in the market for a striker and have identified Sporting Lisbon's Victor Gyokeres as a more realistic target than his Sweden teammate Isaac. They've also heavily scouted Benjamin Sesko of Leipzig. The Sociedad midfielder Martin Zubimendi is expected to complete a 50.2 million move, with Partey and Jorginho likely to depart when their contract expires. It's unclear what budget Berta will have, but there are likely to be more departures as Mikel Arteta attempts to refresh his squad. The manager said on Monday he was looking forward to a big summer working with Berta, extending the contracts of Bukayo Saka, Williams, Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes, whose deals expire in 2027, is a priority. Meanwhile, well, our fears have been answered because Gabriel Magalhaes is done for the season. We don't know that to be true. Let me be fair, but come on, man. If you're having surgery in April, it's done, bro. Like your season's done, and it's upsetting for Gabriel Magalhaes because I expect to see him named as our player of the season, but it is what it is. Allegedly, again, everybody is saying that a meeting took place in the last few days between Nico Williams reps and Arteta Berta. Arsenal started conversations with Sporting regarding the signing of Gyokeres, says reports. Allegedly, Ornstein has also weighed in and said Arteta Berta's arrival has made Sporting's Victor Gyokeres a really strong candidate to join this summer, which wasn't necessarily the case prior. The Italian rates him extremely highly, dating back to his time at Atletico Madrid. Once again, this account rising star 11 was the first to break Quenda to Chelsea. So again, if talks have really begun for Gyokeres, we'll have to see. David Ornstein did say we're developing a strong interest in the days that followed Berta's announcement. People, Arsenal striking options: Gyokeres, Sesko, Watkins, Cunha compared. Arteta is preparing for his sixth summer transfer window as manager, and after the disappointment of this year's winter window, attention will fall towards an additional forward this winter, or is there more than that? Again, we got Trossard, Havertz, Marino. They've all played up front. We know we're at with Jesus. We know we've been linked with Gyokeres, Cunha, Sesko, Isaac, and Ollie Watkins. Okay, this is more of a think piece. We know about Gyokeres' intelligence, and I'm actually going to get some videos made for you lot in that regard. So we're not going to bother reading this, but it's the same old people. That could be useful footage. Ornstein did say that Hugo Ekitike is not currently known to be high on Arsenal's radar. His name being touted everywhere suggests there's some pretty heavy lifting going on from either an agent or Eintracht Frankfurt. People, there's a case that Arsenal striker search is being driven by different aspects of the club. While Mikel Arteta admires Alexander Isak, Arteta Berta is a fan of Victor Gyokeres, and Eddie's pre-existing department are working on Benjamin Sesko. So is there too many chefs in the kitchen messing up the curry goat? I don't know. That's just me looking at Osimhen. Sesko has now reached 18 goals for Leipzig for the third consecutive year, people. Despite their manager being sacked and them having a poor season, he's still delivering. And you'd imagine he won't be a Leipzig player next season. All the interrogation we have done suggests that Arsenal expect Zubimendi to arrive in the summer, said Ornstein on a podcast. Again, we've been monitoring him for a few years, but have been attentive to his desire. Aito has gone to great lengths surrounding the situation, and Arsenal are now working on the basis that he will come to North London. Is he going to listen to Berta or them to Aito or them Real Madrid dons? I don't know, people. Striker is a priority, but not the only priority position. They have long wanted a wide attacker / winger. Midfield needs to be addressed. They're going to need one or two goalies, with Neto going back and Setford potentially being loaned. I did cover this yesterday, but allegedly Arsenal stepped up their efforts to sign goalkeeper Garcia from Espanyol. Leverkusen, Barcelona, and Atletico Madrid, allegedly, as well as us, have all expressed a firm interest in signing the 23-year-old, and apparently he's shown a willingness to accept the challenge of competing for the number one slot at Arsenal with compatriot David Raya. We all know if Espanyol get relegated, his release clause could drop to around 13 million. If they stay up, it rises or stays at 22 million. Apparently it increases if he gets capped for Spain as well. I mean, Berta, I'm sure you are well aware, you being Italian, I hope we do the Italian marketing. I hope we start doing the South American stuff, but you worked for Atletico Madrid for 12 years. Whether you're there or not, you must know all the La Liga players, or you must have trusted sources whose opinions you value. So there isn't any coincidence why we're linked with these guys. And where you look at Nico Williams, Sesko, Gyokeres, Garcia, Zubimendi, I'm probably missing out someone. Is there any coincidence that all these guys have release clauses? You'd be naive if you think Arsenal are just going to trigger all of those release clauses, because all the money has to be paid up in full. That tells us a ballpark figure. We can negotiate around that, dot I's, cross T's, and schedule payments in a way that makes sense for us, people. If Garcia is the one, bring him in it. Simple as that. The Spanish media allegedly fully expect Arsenal to sign Garcia. Don't know if you'd take too much in that. And this rises, it says his release clause is 25 to 30 million. Arsenal are unwilling to pay that much, people. How long would he want to be the number two, people? How long would he want to be the number two? He has 74 appearances for Espanyol and Espanyol B. How much for their first team? 23 years of age. How long do you want to be the number two? Now, the ITKs of this world are saying Garcia had his bags packed on deadline day last summer with a verbal agreement for a move to Arsenal in place, which, remember, we signed Neto on deadline day. Despite the move falling, contact has remained throughout the season, and Arsenal view him as their number one target, people. Allegedly, Liverpool are pushing to finalize an agreement to sign Hugo Ekitike. Apparently, Liverpool are rivaling Arsenal United. Now, we just saw Ornstein is either saying Frankfurt are trying to drive up a bidding war, or the agents doing their madness. And there probably is an element of legitimate interest from all of these clubs. This is the transfer business, people. This France under 21 international has 19 goals and 8 assists in 39 appearances across all comps. All of these clubs have been linked with him. Apparently, Ekitike has reportedly revealed that Liverpool, a source close is saying Liverpool are pushing. Liverpool need a forward like us. Everyone would like Isaac. We just can't afford him. And Newcastle simultaneously going to price him out of a move. Who is this? Arsenal been linked with Anthony. You know what? At least it made us chuckle with what we saw with Gabriel Magalhaes in it. Trust. Rudiger is a doubt for Arsenal's match for Real Madrid because Real Madrid fear he could be suspended by UEFA. This is after Atletico Madrid complained about Rudiger, Ceballos, Mbappe, and Vinicius Junior celebrations at the Mela Pochettino. Atletico Madrid crying. Stop snitching, man. Football's gone too well. We know we play Everton on the weekend. They have a run of, well, prior to losing to Liverpool yesterday, which they were unlucky, they had a run of 9 consecutive games unbeaten, people. So it further confirms what we know about David Moyes. He's on crud. Arsenal, Newcastle, Chelsea, and Manchester United allegedly are all in the race to sign Vlahovic, with a 25-year-old set to leave Juventus this summer. How good would it be to have Isaac, though, even though we know it's not going to happen? Back-to-back 20-plus Premier League goals for him. And counting as well, you know. Remember, people said at the start he's having a slow season. Arteta, I'm with you. I'd love him. If Newcastle qualify for the Champions League, the Alexander is at transfer saga is a non-issue. This close season, he would likely staying regardless, in my opinion. We have been linked with Leroy Sané. I think Arsenal's name is just being thrown around for contract stuff. Apparently, he's determined to stay at Bayern and is ready to sign a contract with significantly lower wages. Bayern bosses appreciate Sané's stance, but their opinions are still divided over offering him a new contract. His chances depend on maintaining his form in the coming weeks, people. So we'll have to watch that closely. Once again, Arsenal, Man United, and Liverpool are all hot on Hugo Ekitike, who'll cost 80+ million euros this summer. PSG have a 20% sell-on clause, according to Blind. Arsenal scouting 30 million creative winger with excellent vision. So we're still linked with Yeremy Hernandez. Don't think that's a level raiser, but why not, man? He's a 22-year-old who's on the books at Real Madrid. Obviously, it didn't work out for him. He's playing for Deportivo in the second division. Team Talker said Arsenal sent scouts to watch him. He's been linked with Arsenal and Chelsea in particular before, so there probably is some level of interest. But scouting and watching a player doesn't necessarily mean you're going to buy someone. He's got 11 goals and 4 assists in the second division over there in Spain, people. So we'll have to see. And apparently Fulham, that's a third club. Fulham have been thrown into the mix. Leicester apparently have had a look. Brentford have had a look. Pardon me. So we'll have to see exactly what's going to happen there, man. But why not? The Anthony stuff is killing me, man. Are Arsenal's contract renewals as important as new signings this summer? 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. It's one thing getting talent. It's another thing improving talent and retaining talent. Two aspects in English football, which I think, because the job to do everything is just to throw money at stuff. If you buy one striker and it don't work, throw money. I think football fans fail to understand. If we need to retain, it's as important bringing in gunmen as getting Saka to this point and improving him, getting Saliba to this point and improving him, getting Gabriel Magalhaes to this point and improving him. Then you marry the quality. Again, we're not getting Isaac, but you bring in a Isaac, you bring in a Nico Williams, you've got Rice, you bring in a certain midfielder next to him for a long-term partnership. Put Rice back as a 6, and Bob could be your uncle, man. I mean, I was keen on the Hugo Ekitike thing, and again, as I was saying, with the rebuild and what did I call it? A rebuild or a revamp? 11 stars facing transfer exit as Arteta Berta bids to bolster spending power. I can't lie, Berta. It's as good as you can hustle, you know, because these are not, a lot of these guys are not easy sells. The players that would be easy sells, quote unquote, we don't want them to go. We don't want to sell Wanyeri, Lewis Skelly, Bukayo Saka. Who else is there? Gabriel Magalhaes, you get where I'm going, that kind of thing. We don't want to sell them. Like, we can all say it's fun and games, moving on from Tomiyasu, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, Kivior, Trossard, Zinchenko, yada, yada, yada. But it's one thing saying they need to go, they're not good enough. It's another thing actually being able to do that. And Berta, I recognize you're just one man. You can't do everything. I can't expect you to engage in serious contract negotiations or let alone free. Get rid of few players, bring in players, bearing in mind, it sounds good, and we do need to do that, and he does have a team. But if he has to spend a day negotiating with a player in Spain or a couple of players in Spain, then has to go to Italy, then has to travel for talks to Saudi to have some talks around players are leaving, it's a lot in it. And I think next season is where I'm going to be like, all right, cool, but I just want to see you get some outgoings. If we need to pivot and we don't get the guys that we're led to believe come in, I don't want to hear about powder dry. Get the renewals done and maybe show an ability to say, do you know what? I hear you want Sesko, but maybe Gyokeres is the right one, just as an example. I don't know, but this is again another thing that's telling us stuff we already know. Really, we know Sterling's gone, we know Neto's gone, we know on paper Kieran Tierney, Jorginho, Thomas Partey are gone. The others. So there's 11 players that could be up for sale. Obviously, Sterling and Neto are gone. I said there. Jorginho seems like he's going back to Brazil. Tierney's set to return to Celtic. Berta has been tasked with improving the transfer fees Arsenal receive when selling. Yeah, last season was a step in the right direction, but we need to get better at doing that 1,000,000%. And I'm not dissing Marino. I'm not dissing Kai Havertz. I'm not dissing Zinchenko. I'm not dissing Gabriel Jesus. But with how it's played out, with the talking points, maybe we've identified talent wrongly. And then also we've had Edu not hustling properly. Like, I'm not dissing Mikel Merino, but a year left on his deal at 28, 130 grand. He's laughing. And that's not Kai Havertz laughing. Chelsea are laughing. £5 million loss on the man. And that's not to say Kai hasn't been okay for us and better than we thought and still not the answer. But 5 million loss on what Chelsea got. 5 million loss. He scored the Champions League winning goal. You say, you know what, that was worth 5 million. 65 million, big contract. Kai's laughing. He stays in London. He's valued by the manager. I think his day-to-day reputation at Arsenal is a lot better than it was at Chelsea. He's on big money, got a family, team love you. It's peak. If we sign, we know we need a squad. So it's, again, the quality versus quantity kind of thing we've been referring to. But at some point, we're going to have to review this. Because if you bring in a striker and 2 midfielders, we're even led to believe some reports say 2. What's going on with Kai? No, Arteta said he could play out wide. Let's not give the manager any crazy ideas. Zinchenko is expected to pursue a new challenge in light of Miles Lewis-Skelly's standout season. It's crazy how life works out, isn't it? Like, for all of Zinchenko's faults, that debut season, him doing his thing in the inverted left back role, to a centre, ironically, a centre mid becoming a left back, someone who's been a professional footballer at this level for 8 months. Big up Lewis Skelly, has rubbed you out. It's cold. Dortmund were interested in the Ukrainian in January, but never tabled an offer. So for all the speculation, nothing was risen up. Completely off topic, but Xhaka was. Did you see Xhaka's row with the Bayern Leverkusen fans? Kivior, who came off the bench early in the first half of Tuesday's win against Fulham, is also set to depart in search of regular playing time. The poll has attracted a long list of suitors from Italy, with French giants Marseille also among his admirers. Tavares is set to seal a permanent switch to Lazio. Again, we heard there's an obligation. Sevilla have a buy option on Lokonga. Whether they're going to take us up on that or try and negotiate that lower is another thing. Apparently, they're keen to keep him, but are not currently likely to trigger the clause as they intend to negotiate a slightly below that fee. What did we say? For some of you that were here, what did we say last summer? We said that was going to happen. Should they U-turn and pay up, Arsenal would hold a 25% sell-on clause that would entitle them to a future profit. Partey's leaving and we're still linked with Cunha, ironically. Nelson could also be headed for the exit door, but his current